Hi guys. So now I think it's time to look at the larger issue surrounding the Jack Murphy scandal. This video has nothing to do with the scandal itself, just the larger issues that it brought to light. So, to me, the main issue here to talk about, and I think the most important and glaringly obvious, is that of content creators just blatantly ignoring, looking down on, and insulting their audiences. So this is what led to my first video, the first video that Ashley's Thoughts made, and this whole Revenge of the Trolls moniker. I guess it wasn't Ashley's first video overall, but it was her first video regarding this situation, right? So this all started with Tim Pool, Viva Frey, Robert Barnes, all these other people, Jack Cernovich, Jack Cernovich, Mike Cernovich. There's too many Jacks involved, and Jack Posobiec and all these other creators not addressing the Jack Murphy issue, or in the case of Barnes and Frey, defending him, and Tim Pool having him on and giving him the leash to lie about his interactions on the You Are Here show. At least that's my perspective, that he was lying. That's what I think happened. It also has this whole situation has roots in the platforming of Fresh and Fit on the Timcast IRL podcast. People in the audience think that they are hucksters and chronic DMCAers. So essentially what happened is whenever the audience would step out of line, their super chats would get ignored. The personalities would call them trolls. The larger influencers would continue to stand apart and distance themselves from the will of the audience. And I think that is the thing that makes the most people angry about this. So in some sense, I think karma is just going to take care of this. If people are sick enough of this, which I think they are, they'll vote with their subscriptions, they'll vote with their dollars, they'll walk away from the people who are treating them this way. And I think that's the correct thing to do. Now, this isn't going to break any of these big YouTubers, but I think that there's a lot of people, based on just my interactions. I'm a tiny channel. I'm getting close to 200 subscribers, but it's very, very small. And I've already had dozens and dozens of people telling me, I'm sick of Tim Pool doing this. I'm sick of Frey and Barnes doing this. People have been saying that they've pulled subscriptions. They've stopped being members. Of course, like I said, in the big picture, I don't think this is going to be anything but a small speed bump, if even that, for these big channels. But because there's enough normies and people that just want to talk about the political issues that are going to stick with them, and they're not interested in holding people accountable as much. They just want to know the news. So I'm not here advocating like the cancellation of any YouTubers, any political figures. I do believe that the reason people are furious about all this stuff and about the Jack Murphy debacle in particular, so this was such a catalyst because so many people saw Tim, Viva, Barnes, these other people as voices for the audience. So these are the normal people that they are smart enough to see through like the mainstream media and all of that, but at the same time they don't have the willpower, the resources, the drive, the time, whatever it might be, to actually like make the YouTube channel start talking about it, or just the know-how in general. Like it's just something that they can't or aren't interested in doing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but what they wanted is people who could represent them to the broader internet and political sphere as it is. So what we saw Tim and all these other people being is the little guy standing up to big tech, the corporate media machine. We relied on them to tell the truth, to bring the discussions to us in a wholesome, honest, and fruitful way. What happened is that the audience then felt betrayed as Tim and the other influencers hurried to cut their losses, call the incident drama, ignore the real-life ramifications for the fans, who all knew that they were being exposed to what they perceive as hucksters. And as these larger personalities ignore the super chats, especially, that's a big one, the audience kind of becomes increasingly frustrated and feels unheard. And it seemed like these influencers, who were made by their audience, by the way, right? This is how YouTube works. This is how subscription-based stuff works. Your audience makes you who you are. And it's something that people seem to forget about, that because once you get to a certain size, you're like, your ego takes over, right? And that's a scary thing. So it seems like as channels get bigger and bigger, they tend to get more and more disconnected from the people from whom they garner their support, influence, and wealth. So over the past several years, we've seen many of these personalities self-censor out of fear of losing their monetization, losing their channel, getting strikes, violating guidelines, whatever it might be. And this is understandable to some degree, but I think in a lot of cases it becomes a paranoia to the extent that important topics are left undiscussed out of fear. And because look, the culture war it's intensifying right now. And audiences want to be heard. They want their ideas to be put out there, whether it's by them or it's by some influencer or personality who is able to articulate their views maybe better than the average person. So you can see this. People are very willing to put their money where their mouth is. You can see that by like just the enormous number of super chats that were sent just last night and yesterday about the whole Jack Murphy debacle and the Fresh and Fit, just as an example. Or is it Fit and Fresh? Whatever, those two guys. So there is a need out there. There's a need right now, specifically right now, for an audience-based community where people feel as though they can be seen and heard, and the discussion is not limited by insider deals, greed, fear of embarrassment, fear of lack of advertising, whatever it might be. So I want to see this happen. So cultural and political issues should be discussed in a very open way. And people should be able to express themselves and their views and be taken seriously by the content creators that they themselves choose to prop up, right? And I think that this is the most important thing that we need to take away from the whole Tim Pool, Viva and Barnes and everybody else's response to the Jack Murphy saga. We, the audience, need to have our own community where things can be freely discussed in a transparent way. I'm very new to YouTube as a creator, although I've been kind of religiously watching YouTube videos for over a decade. But this is the direction that I think I want to go with this channel. So the Jack Murphy saga, it's been discussed on my channel as much as I have the capacity to do, I think. I'm not going to shy away from talking about it, like on live streams or if more things come out. I'll cover it, but now I think is the time for the audience to get together and start a whole new crop of creators with an audience-centered bent to speak out on culture and politics so that our views can still be represented in the public square and the things that are important to us can be brought up. This much has been made clear to me by the response of these large content creators. Look, I'm not Tim Pool. I'll never be Tim Pool, nor do I want to be Tim Pool. I have my own career to keep me grounded, but if I can create some sort of space where there can be honest discussion about politics and culture from a center-right perspective, which I think is about where I fall, I'm all in on this. So what do you guys think? I really want your input. I'll be talking about this later on stream. So subscribe, like, comment if you're interested in this topic. You can follow me on Twitter at SeattleiteJ. I'll be live streaming tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific time to talk about this, to give and get closure on the whole Jack Murphy debacle and the response to it, and to talk about bigger and better things, right? Because I think that we've reached about as much as we can of exposing Jack Murphy and all this whole thing. I think at this point it's becoming a little redundant. So I think that we need to look at it through a wider lens and see the ramifications both culturally and personally that this is going to have for all of us. So I also just want to hang out. I love the streams. Talking with you guys is great. We had, I think, close to 60 live viewers last night, and throughout the course of the stream, there was more than 500 people popping in and out. So it was super cool. The little community is growing already. We have lots of fun discussions in the live chat, and I hope to see you all there.